just great to be here. I was at the GSL in 1981, and this is my return visit after all those years.
Here at GSL, I'm with Rattle Can Cos, a name that infamous modeler Tim Slazak gave Alan Cosby many years ago.
So I've known Mark Gustavson for a long time. Him and I and Tim tried to put together the Omaha show back in 1980 that horribly failed and caused Mark to name the nameless national luminaries for the people that didn't show up. So I'm here, I brought some models in. Biggest one is Madame Fefe. Madame Fefe's got a pretty interesting story in that she was originally started about 20 years ago by Andy Kallen from Phoenix, who is well known here in the GSL group. But unfortunately, he passed away about 15 years ago. So the model sat unfinished for all this time. So after his wife passed away, the family decided to divest themselves of his collection. So I was able to get quite a few pieces. But Fefe, I didn't see. It ended up with Mike Schnur, and I was over his house, and it was sitting on the floor, this half-finished model. And I said, "What's with this model?" And he says, "Oh, that's was going to be Andy's masterpiece." He said, "But we don't know what it is. We think it's going to be Barris's Aztec." I said, "No, that's not the Aztec. That's Madame Fefe." And they all looked at me like, "What the heck is a Madame Fefe?" And they Googled it on their phone and realized that's what it is. It's a custom that was built by John Buchanan and Ray Wilson and won the 1960 Grand National Roadster Show Best Custom Award.
Well, Alan, what clued you in that was Madame Fefe? I mean, you picked up on it right away.
You know, I've been studying little car magazines all my life, and I don't even know where that synapse brain kicked in. I just looked at those fins, and it came out of my mouth. So I picked it up, and I'm looking at it, and they realized it really was. So Mike Schnur hands it to me and says, "Here, finish it." So at first, this was in October and November of last year. It sat in my house up until January when Jim Keeler came over one day. Jim and I are good friends, and he's looking at it and goes, "Well, I'll build the interior." I says, "Really? Well, if you build the interior, maybe I can get the outside done." And then Mike Schnur, I was down visiting with him and Tom Walsh. They decided they would do the engine. Tom did all the trim work. So my job was the body, paint, and the assembly, which was still a lot of work because we started at the middle of January this year.
Of this year, and now it's May.
Yeah.
So this is a 5-month collaboration.
It was about a 4-month build that we had it done by. So, but it just came out really good. I mean, everything started to come together. One of my biggest problems was trying to figure out how to put dual headlights in it. But Charles Estes from 3D Texas Customs jumped in and offered to scan and print the headlights. So that just solved my problem there. And
So his work on that was the bezel as well as the interior portion?
No, just the bezel. I shaped the rest of it from what Andy had started. So, and then I had to come up with a way to reverse hinge the hood and fun stuff like that. It's painted with so many cans of paint. There's 3 cans of Tamiya Pure White, 3 cans of Tamiya Pearl White, and 3 cans of Tester's Wet Look Clear. And then it's all rubbed out with Gravity Colors 3-part rubbing compound. So it came out, I think, pretty good for an old guy that paints with spray cans. So
it's gorgeous.
But anyway, so it's here as a memorial to Andy Kallen, the guy that started it. Andy also started this model right here, this 62 Ford, and when I got it, it was just in primer. And so all I did was finish the bodywork up a little bit and paint it, and I did a spider web roof on it, which I've kind of come up with a way of doing that, and polished it up real nice, and it's just another Andy job. So it came out pretty good.
And that is, I mean, that's not a T-bird. I mean, that was...
No, this is the old AMT Styline kit. It's actually got no engine in it. It's just a slam model. But it was fun to work on.
That's great, and nice work on the roof.
Thank you. Then we got a few other models here. The Dresselhaus Deuce was built for a neighbor of mine who's 82 years old, and he had the real car in Hot Rod in 1960. So I built him a model of it for his birthday, so he was in tears when he got it.
Bet.
And then we got this. This was my Best in Show in Cleveland 1975 MPC contest. It's unrestored. It was painted with Pactra paint back in the day, and I just keep it in the case all the time, and it's it's held up really well.
And that was packed for rattle can paint.
It was all rattle can
Like
paint.
the cool stuff they have in the museum, those cans there.
I did do the scallops with an airbrush. That was my first attempt at an airbrush, but
Was that like a candy?
yeah, Pactor Candy Blue. And Tim Slazak carried this for a year because he was the judge for the finals.
Oh, yeah.
And so he took it from Cleveland to Omaha, and he had it in his possession for quite a while. So he feels like he's the great uncle of this or something. And at the same time, my now ex-wife built this model, and it's a Corvette Aero something. And then she put a 63 Corvette roof on it. And Mark Gustavson saw this. I brought this to the 1981 show.
Yeah.
And Mark looked at it, and not long after, he brought out an article with his vet that looks very much like this. And when I called him up, he goes, "Oh yeah, I gave her credit for it." So that's where he got his idea for that. So that's the stuff I brought. I've been building since 1958. I first started building model kits, and I stopped for years while I was working, but then I got back into it big time when I retired. And just having a great time here. Love this show. Kudos to Mark and the gang for putting this together. It's just been amazing. I don't think they knew how big it was going to be. It's just
Going out just huge.
well, hopefully they can keep it going, maybe in an NNL format or something going forward. It would just be a lot of fun because just love getting together with all these people, seeing guys I knew from 20, 30 years ago. And I get to meet you after seeing you online. So this is pretty cool. Really appreciate what you're doing. I'm looking forward to seeing all your videos. I'll be binge watching when I get home.
Man, it's so good to talk to you.
Yeah, same here. Really look forward to